All right, so we have a jam-packed day, and I would like to get this going as quickly as possible. So I think maybe the best thing we can do is actually get going. By the time we're done with all the housekeeping stuff, everybody should have joined, and they can always watch the housekeeping section on video if they need to. So,
Yeah, plug that channel.
exactly. We'll start off with why did the scarecrow? And one of you has already gotten the answer to this. But why did the scarecrow get tenure? Obviously, he was a professor at RPI. Well, the scarecrow got tenure because he was outstanding in his field. Boom, boom. You'll notice that around Halloween time, there are a lot of Halloween jokes. So we get really bad. But anyway, he was outstanding in his field. So the first thing I think I want to do is let's just quickly go over the test. I think there's still some confusion, and certainly there's room for us to answer some questions. Let's see, we are right here. So this is our summary sheet for the test. We haven't completely graded all of the late people, the people who had an excused absence. We will be getting to those this weekend, if not before. But if you are someone who took the test last Friday, we have not graded you yet. And I apologize for that, but it's been a whirlwind of a week or so. So everybody else, you should have received your grades. These are the component averages. On the first two questions, it was about 84 and 81%. And then on the last two, it was down about 64%. The overall average was just under 73%, 72.71. What we decided, there was a lot of confusion about what the timing requirements were. And I think there was Professor Mushtaq and I didn't always speak with we didn't always use the same words when we were talking. So that may have added to the confusion. Because of that, what we've decided is whatever your grade is here, if it helps your score, we will calculate your grades the way we said, 30% allocated to this test section. 6, 12, 12, lowest, highest, highest. We will calculate your grade that way. We'll also calculate your grade making the other two assignments or wherever that other 20% was supposed to come from, making them worth 15% apiece. And whichever grade you have is higher is the grade we will use at the end of the semester for your semester grade. So in other words, this test can't hurt you. It can only help you. So, that's, hopefully a positive thing. We do apologize for the confusion. We also had some issues with inappropriate conduct during the exam. Hopefully, we've resolved those. Please note that we have tools at our command that allow us to compare answers. So if you are comparing answers or using someone else's answers, there's a really high probability that we will find it. We use the tools, we then review what the tools showed us, and we make a determination, and sometimes that determination we have to draw a line. So, if you behaved inappropriately, we probably saw it. Whether we decided that we had enough evidence to make a claim or not is probably a differentiator. But we did look at everything. We did find a lot of similarities that we weren't particularly happy with, and those people have been contacted. There's a good question. Somebody's asking, is there a way to argue for points back? So let me see. If I go to, no, I can't do that. You may have noticed on some of our assignments, where can I go to? I don't have a maybe I can do this anyway. I mean, I've never tried to actually get to this point. Well, anyway, we come into maybe homework 3. While we wait for Smitty to come up, let me just explain. There is a regrade request in the Professor has a lot of over these by the way, these when you see these little red things, this means if you submit now, you will be overdue. It has no impact on things you submitted in the past. So if you've submitted before and you come back onto the screen and it says overdue, that doesn't mean you haven't submitted. It means if you were to submit now, you would get the late penalty. Okay, so that red thing is meaningless from that particular standpoint, and I am not seeing how to do a regrade on this one. Anyway, if you go down into your test, and I don't have a test, so I can't do this, but if you go down into your test and review what you got wrong, there is a regrade button where you can request. Try one more time. There's a regrade button where you can request that we look at a specific question. Please be as specific as you can about why you think you deserve more points. I will say that if it's a rubric item, if it's a specific item, that means we looked at it for everybody. And if we looked at it for everybody, the chances of us giving you credit back for something we deducted on a lot of people's tests is relatively small. Right? We are above everything else striving for consistency, because at least with consistency, we can make this work better, right? If we have consistency, we can at least come in and make everybody, give everybody a curve or whatever we need to do to make things consistent. If we missed something, if we got something wrong, if you wrote something that was right, that we marked as wrong, we would really love to fix it. So use the regrade requests, but use them judiciously. Don't go back and say that you don't believe that, you believe we're deducting your code is wrong, but you think that we unfairly deducted too many points for that particular error. That's unlikely to get much traction. But arguing that your code is actually right and we made a mistake is far more likely to get you something back. I am not seeing, since I don't have a submission, I'm not seeing actually how to make a regrade request. If you have problems with that, please see us. But there should be a button down here for any of the problems where you can ask for something to be regraded. So the question that is one of the questions I see flying by is, did we deduct time penalties? And yes, we deducted time penalties. Unfortunately, the message that came out of this is where I was talking about Professor Mushtaq and I had different messages. Professor Mushtaq said we would not deduct points until after the 11:55 p.m. I said that 90 minutes was the limit of the test. So because of that, if you submitted before 11:55, we didn't deduct points, and actually we gave you about another 20 minutes after that of grace period to handle technology issues. After that, we began deducting points. It's for the people in the middle who actually did it in the 90-minute time span and didn't take more than 90 minutes. That's where the concern is, and that's the whole reason why we're allowing this test to go to only count if it's going to benefit you. We can't think of any other way to make this fair. We know that a lot of you did complete the test in the 90 minutes. We have evidence of that. We know that some of those who did complete it in 90 minutes did very well. We have evidence of that. And we want that hard work to be rewarded. On the other hand, the people, when we compare people who worked 3 hours against people who worked 90 minutes, it's unfair to penalize the people who worked 90 minutes and turned in something that was reasonable for 90 minutes, but compare them against somebody who worked on it for 3 or 4 hours. So because of the muddled message, because of the way things were told to you, we are essentially making this a no-harm exam. If it helps your grade, it counts. If it doesn't help your grade, it doesn't count. For the next exam, very good question. There's the ability in Submiti to precisely time how long each of you takes. That will avoid all confusion. We haven't actually decided, given there are two issues. You guys are concerned about the timing issue. We're far more concerned about the other issue, exams being copied and such. So given that there were both of those issues, we are not sure how we're going to go forward exactly. We do know that we will not have this issue with time again. We will either give you a fixed amount of time, a 24-hour period, or we'll give you a very precisely timed 90-minute period as measured by the time you start the test on Submiti. The reason we didn't do that this time was because that's a new capability. It was untested, and it was specifically untested on 650, 700 students. We do know that Submiti has had problems keeping up with some of the throughput issues when you all try to submit at the same time, and we don't want to be in a position where all of your Submiti submissions start having issues in timing out. So we avoided using that technology, and we did something else. We will be revising it. This will not happen again. And thank you. That I really do appreciate that for those of you who did stop in 90 minutes. And yeah, remember that our target, right? We are looking for a spread of grades. I think that this could be done in 90 minutes. I have evidence that it could be done in 90 minutes. But the idea is to maximize your number of points in that 90 minutes. So I apologize if that makes you stressed, but that's part of taking tests, is a little bit of stress. The good thing about 90 minutes is it's over in 90 minutes. You don't stress for more than that. And we are not, we don't have those numbers. We have anecdotal numbers. So anyway, that's where we stand. That's what I wanted to say about this. This will not happen again. We have other, we will be bringing more technology into play. The problem is it may impact us in other ways. We may have Submiti brownouts or crashes, and it just may be the way we have to work it. We're going to be deciding how we proceed. Your next test is coming up in about 2 weeks. Is scheduled for about 2 weeks. We will know how we are going to proceed by that time, and we'll let you know next week. So don't panic about it until then. No votes. Sorry, not a democracy. Yeah, we'll post an exam. We'll post an exam key. I thought we had posted it already, but apparently not. We'll post an example key, and since we haven't posted one, we'll actually leave the regrades open until at least Monday. Okay, so take a look at your exams, see what you got, and take till at least Monday. Okay. This course is supposed to be passed. We do not fail anywhere near 60% of the students in this class. That's perhaps a statistic. It might be a statistic for the summer. It is not a statistic for the fall. That's way beyond what we normally have. There are some people who pass. I'm sorry, there are some people. Yeah, there are a few people that pass. No, the bulk of you, if you do your work, you will pass. This is not a gatekeeping course. It is a tough course. It's not a gatekeeping course. More than 60% of you will pass. A reasonable proportion of you, beyond what a normal curve would show, will get A's if the pattern holds. We'll be top heavy towards A's and B's. So that's not exactly a true statistic for at least for the fall and spring semesters. I don't know the summer semester. All right. I think that's where we stand right now. And I do apologize for the time issues. Like I said, if we didn't have a muddled message, we would be a lot harsher on the time thing. The problem is that the message was confused, and depending on who you talk to, you got a different view. Okay. What was the next thing I wanted to go to? I guess I need to do the rest of housekeeping. Homework 4 is due tonight. Do well on that. Some of what we talk about today is going to be useful to you in homework 4, so pay attention. Homework 5 is going to be uploaded probably Friday morning. We're looking at a few issues there, mainly my solution and the submittee solution and the text of the homework don't all agree on everything, and so we are working to make that all agree on everything. Once we have that all ironed out, it will be posted. Again, exam grades have been released, except for those who took it late. You should look for those on Monday. We generally target homeworks to take between 8 and 10 hours. So, that's what we target. If you do it over the course, if you look at it early and then, work on it a little bit and let yourself think, it's going to be closer to the 8 hours. If you try to do it last minute, it's probably going to be closer to 12. But that's kind of the way things go. All-nighter, because it took 10 hours, you should be planning on 10 hours for one of these homeworks at least. Okay?